Hello students, today we will continue with next topic, pest control practices. So till now we have explained different type of crop pest, stored grain pest, then veterinary pest, and also the different type of non-insect pest. Now we'll discuss about the pest control practices which are very important so as to control or destroy or to kill the pest which are attacking on variety of crops and causing loss or damage of the crops and leading into the economic loss of the farmers. So there are different type of pest control practices or pest control measures. So we'll explain them one by one. So first we'll explain little bit regarding the primary control measures, which refers to the non-chemical, non-biological methods and which are adopted by the farmers itself. So regarding the introduction of the pest control practices, so primary control measures refers to the non-chemical, non-biological methods which destroy the insect pest or makes the environment suitable for their survival. So due to the formation of unsuitable or unfavorable conditions of the environment will lead to the problem for the pest for its survival, and thus these are the non-chemical, non-biological methods and which can be employed by the farmers themselves, but will help much to control the pest. This control method requires the basic knowledge of the agro-ecosystem and regular inspection and care of the crops. To large extent, the value of agricultural crops is based on the insect control through mechanical, physical, cultural control methods. So these are the different type of uh, non-chemical or non-biological methods of the control of pest, namely cultural control measure, physical control measure, and the mechanical control measures. But these are very useful in controlling the pest population in the crops. These practices should be undertaken well in advance, which helps in maintaining the sound ecosystem of the region. Insect control, in its broadest sense, includes everything that makes life hard for insects and tends to kill them, and to prevent their increase or number or spread over the crop area. So, all these practices will help in controlling the number of pests in the crop field due to making the life hard for the insects due to the unfavorable conditions or the environment which is developed due to the uh, different type of control measures, that is cultural or physical or mechanical control measures will help in maintaining the sound ecosystem of the region, and this will also help to prevent the increase and spread of the number of pests in a crop area. The primary control measures are traditional, simple, safe, and comparatively cheaper than the other methods of pest control. So, primary control measures are, since they are traditional type, they are very simple, safe, or eco-friendly, and comparatively cheaper than the other methods of pest control. Some of the methods described here are adopted by the Indian farmers. So first we'll explain the first method, adopted by the Indian farmers for the control of pest in the crop fields. That is cultural measure or cultural control measure. Cultural measures are simple farm practices. Cultural measures are simple farm practices that man has learned by his long experience or long agricultural practices. It involves the use of cultural practices associated with the crop production to make conditions less favorable for the survival, growth, and the reproduction of the pest species. So, due to these practices, what happens actually? The number of pest number of pest species remains in a control because these practices will lead to the unfavorable conditions of the environment for for the pest, and this will become difficult for the survival, growth, and the reproduction of the pest species. This method is used for suppressing pest population by manipulating their environment to make it less favorable by disrupting reproductive cycle, eliminating food, or by using natural enemies. So these are the simple practices which will interfere with the different life activities or the processes of the pest population. These methods increase little additional expenditure in adjustments of cropping system. These methods will increase little additional expenditure in adjustments of the cropping system. So, this will explain one by one. Operations under this method, operations under this method involve the field sanitation, clean cultivation, crop rotation, adjustments in dates of sowing or planting, water and fertilizer management, tillage practices or ploughing practices, etc. So these are the different cultural practices or the operations under this method will involve the field sanitation, clean cultivation, crop rotation, adjustment or planning of the dates of sowing and planting, then water and fertilizer management, and intercultural practices or the tillage operations or the practices in the field. So these are the operations which are very important and can be performed prior to the planting or sowing of the crop in the field. Normally, good farmers adopt such agronomic practices from sowing or planting to harvesting for the efficient management of inputs as well as crop growth so as to obtain more yield. So, main purpose of practicing these activities in the agricultural practices is to obtain more yield of the crop. So normally good farmers adopting such agronomic practices or agricultural practices from uh, right right from sowing or planting to harvesting, and this for the efficient management of the inputs. So whatever the activities that are essential for the proper growth of the crop that are performed by the farmers in the form of various inputs as well as the crop growth, and so as to obtain this uh, more crop yield. For cultural methods, for cultural methods of control, the biology and ecology of the pest organisms or insects, a good knowledge is required. So, for the um, use of these cultural control measures, the ecology, biology of the pest must be uh, known to the farmers. Then and then only it is possible to choose a proper practice for the pest management or the pest control. So, for the culture methods of the control, the biology and ecology of the pest organisms or pest insects or insect pest, a good knowledge is essential. Here, some methods are described under the heading of cultural control measures. The first one is field sanitation. So, first we'll explain what is field sanitation. Field sanitation, field sanitation is the basic requirement to reduce the attack of the pathogen or insect population or to minimize the appearances of epiphytotics or epizootics. So epiphytotics or epizootics, these are the uh, certain other plants or organisms which can be harmful to the particular crop, and thus to minimize these appearances of these epiphytotics or epizootics, then so as to reduce the attack of insect population or the pest population, we do certain basic practices in the agricultural fields called as field sanitation. So field sanitation is the basic requirement, and this helps to reduce the attack of pathogens or the insect pest population. This will also help to minimize the occurrence of epiphytotics or epizootics. These might be the plants or animal type of pest can be harmful to the crop fields. So measures adopted for field sanitation includes destruction of crop residues. The first one, that is destruction of crop residue, stubbles, and self-sown tillers. Self-sown tillers. So destruction of the crop residues, stubbles, and self-sown tillers, etc. Then use of irradiant sprays. Use of use of irradiant sprays where complete destruction of the crop residues may not be possible. So we can use some sprays or the chemical sprays which will help in eradication or elimination of the waste material or the weeds, maybe the residues or the remains of the previous crop after harvesting. And if it is not possible to remove these crop residues completely, then we can use some sort of sprays or the chemicals which will also help in eradication of the complete destruction of these crop residues. Then eradication or elimination of the affected plants and plant parts. So various after harvesting, usually after harvesting, there may be large quantity of trash or stubbles or the roots. So these are the various parts of the crop plants, and this should be removed from the crop field so as to eliminate the stages of the different pest, maybe insect pest or the hidden stages of the insect pest. Then eradication of weeds, removal of weeds or other plants which may shares with the crop in the field, and thus it is essential to remove all the weeds, undesired plants or the weeds which are competing or sharing the nutrients, that is nutrients, water, oxygen. So whatever the requirements of the crop of plants that are shared and may be used by these weeds, and thus ultimately will affecting badly on the growth and yield of the crops. And that's why it is essential to eradicate these weeds or other plants which may act as alternative host harboring the pathogens or insects in off season or growing season. So this is again another drawback. So which may contain or which may harbors the pathogens or the other insect pest which may hide in these plants. So this will become a alternative host for the pest population. Then tillage practices, which will reduce the pest attack or leads to the destruction of resting stages of the pathogens or eggs of the insects. So ploughing, deep ploughing or tillage operations will help in a complete transformation of the land, and whatever the stages of the pest, maybe eggs, pupae, larvae, which are hidden or present on the upper layers of the soil or the land that are get buried, that are buried directly due to the tillage practices or the deep ploughing, and this will ultimately reduce the pest attack or leads to the complete destruction of these resting stages of the pathogens or eggs of the insects, or these might be some of which might get buried underside of the soil, so ultimately get uh, died or killed. Even some hidden stages which are present underside of the land that get exposed to the sunlight and can get eliminated by its complete drying. So tillage practices will also help in reducing the pest population, or this leads to complete destruction of the resting stages of the pathogens or the pest or eggs of the insects. Then another practice, that is selection of the seeds. So these are the, we are now discussing about the culture methods or culture control measures, among which first was field sanitation. Then second is selection of seeds. The first step in the farm cultivation of any crop is the selection of right seeds. The infected seeds, if sowed or planted, cause poor germination. For example, seed-borne pest like nematode, Angina triticale, a nematode like Angina triticale. So this type of pest, nematode pest, can occur in the crop field along with the seeds. So this is a seed-borne nematode, seed-borne pest, seed-borne pest, and is belonging to category nematodes and the genus species Angina triticale. This may serve as a potential source of the field infestation. So this nematode can enter in the crop field along with the infested seed or infected seed. So seed-borne pest like this nematode can serve as a potential source of the field infestation and thus can infest the entire crop. Hence, good quality, disease-free, healthy seeds should be selected for the sowing purpose. So proper selection of the seeds is also having great importance, because there may be stages of the pest or the pathogens in the seeds. So the selection of right seeds is the first essential practice to avoid the source of infection or source of infestation of the crops in the form of seed-borne stages of the different type of pest like this nematode Angina triticale. So good quality and disease-free healthy seeds should be selected for the sowing or plantation purpose. Then tillage operation. Cultivation or ploughing, cultivation, these are the intercultural practices after harvesting or prior to the plantation of next crop in a next season will have to do these practices, tillage operation or the cultivation practices. So cultivation or ploughing is essential for the preparation of seed bed for sowing or transplanting of seedlings of the crops. A number of secondary advantages of tilling soil includes control of pests and weeds, pest pupae which are exposed to the surface for dehydration or predation by the birds, and various stages may be damaged, or larvae pupae may be buried and kills many insects, cutworms, pupae of fruit flies, thrips, etc. So there are so many type of insect pests and their stages, that is eggs, pupae, larvae, which are in a dormant form, can present in the field after harvesting. So with a cultivation or a deep ploughing practice, this can be buried underside, or which are buried, the stages which are present below the surface of the land, that get exposed to the sunlight and dried and dyed get dried and dyed. So this will help in a killing or destruction of the many insects, cutworms, pupae of fruit flies, thrips, or eggs, whatever the stages of the insect pest or life cycle of the insect pest are present in the soil, that are eliminated due to the tillage operations. For example, due to post-harvest ploughing, due to post-harvest ploughing means ploughing after harvesting of the crop. So, due to post-harvest ploughing, the winter paddy fields, which expose the hibernating larvae of yellow stem borer of the rice that hibernate in stubbles, and larvae pupae of Lacnosterna consanguinea, a pest of groundnut and sugarcane, are destroyed. So, due to post-harvest ploughing, the winter paddy fields which are exposing due to the post-harvest ploughing in winter months, the paddy fields where the hibernating larvae of yellow stem borer of the rice that get exposed to the surface, which are hibernating in stubbles, and also the larvae pupae of the Lacnosterna consanguinea, a pest of groundnut and sugar canes, are also destroyed due to the post-harvest ploughing. Sorry. Many insect pests, namely corn earworm, European corn borer, wheat stem sawfly, have been controlled in many countries by deep ploughing. So this is only a practice. This is just a post harvest practice in the field agricultural practices, that is ploughing. So deep ploughing after harvesting can help in a eradication or elimination or the destruction and killing of the several stages of the pest population, not only in India but abroad also. The many countries, in many country, they have controlled the various pests like corn earworm, European corn borer, wheat stem sawfly. These pests, such type of pests, are controlled in many countries simply by deep ploughing. So this is about the tillage operations. Then crop rotation. So rotation of the crops. That is, the same crop is not grown successively on the same field, or change in sequence of cropping pattern. So crop rotation is just a practice, that is change of sequence of the cropping pattern, and this is called as a crop rotation. So same crop is not grown continuously or throughout the year or year after year. Rotation of the crops, that is, the same crop is not grown or cultivated successively on the same field during the year or for the couple of the year. And this is just a practice where we can change the sequence of cropping pattern called as crop rotation. It helps in the control of pest. How it helps in the control of pest? Crop rotation is most useful against diseases caused by fungi and nematodes. Crop rotation is most useful against the diseases caused by fungi and the nematodes. The main purpose of the crop rotation is to disrupt or to interrupt the continuity in the readily available food supply or host plants to the pest. And this results into the starvation of pest, and there will be decline or decrease in a pest population, and this is simply due to the food, lack of proper food of the pest. So this will breaks the food chain. This will break the food chain. So crop rotation will break the food chain, and due to this, the pest will not get its proper food due to the crop rotation, and simply it will uh, get exposed for the starvation. So, due to the lack of proper feed or food, the pest population ultimately get decreased. So, this is the advantage of the crop rotation. So, crop rotations, that is, the same crop is not grown successively on the same field or change in sequence of cropping pattern, and this helps in control of pest. Crop rotation is most useful against diseases caused by fungi and nematodes. So, the fungus and nematodes uh, type of pests or the pathogens which are causing variety of diseases in the crops, and thus uh, due to the crop rotation, the host plants or the proper food will be exhausted due to the changing crop pattern. Ultimately, these fungi or the nematodes, which are feeding specifically on a specific type of host plants, so ultimately this will help in a uh, decrease in a pest population. The main principle of crop rotation is to disrupt or interrupt the continuity in the readily available food supply or host plant, and this will result into the starvation of the pest, and there will be a decline or decrease in the pest population. This method is very effective against the root diseases in the field crop, that is, incidence of potato tuber moth can be effectively reduced by suspending the cultivation of potato crop in the affected areas for 2 or 3 years. So, with the change of complete crop pattern, we can eliminate these pest or the stages of these pest, and this will the best practice so as to kill these insects or the pest due to the non-availability of the host plants or the food in the particular region. In white ant infested lands, sugarcane, wheat, or chilies, which cannot be grown, may be replaced by onion or tobacco. So we can simply change the sequence of the crops, or we'll change the crop pattern for the cultivation purpose. So ultimately this will help in killing stages of the different pest of the particular crops. Then next cultural practice, that is trap crops or secondary crops. Trap crops or secondary crops. Small plants or trap crops may be grown near the major crop as a trap. So ultimately what happens, the pests of the particular crop or the major crop get diverted from the major crop to the trap crop. Getting it? So, trap crops or the secondary crops. So, small plants or the trap crops may be grown side by side near the major crop fields as a trap, and the pests attracted are accumulated on this trap or crop and then are killed by any other chemical control measure or the toxicant. This method is quite effective against some plant nematodes, parasitic weeds. Bhendi. Bhendi is often sown with a cotton to attract cotton jacids and the spotted ball worm, and the plants should be destroyed before the insect migrate to the cotton. So, along with the cotton field, we can grow the trap crop, bhendi as a trap crop, and ultimately the different type of pests which are attacking the crop cotton field, that is cotton jacids and spotted ball worm, like red cotton bug, which can be diverted from cotton major cotton field to the bhendi trap, and thus we can collect them, or we can employ some other chemical control measure for the killing or destruction of these pest which has been diverted from the major crop cotton to the trap crop bhendi. Then arhar may be used as a trap crop in a mixed cropping with cotton to reduce attack of cotton grey weevil, which shows preference arhar in a relation to cotton. So this is again another trap crop or the plant arhar, which can also be used as or culture grown as a trap crop uh, along with the cotton field, so as to reduce the cotton grey weevil, and which also shows the preference to the arhar in relation to the cotton. So instead of attacking or infesting the cotton field, the cotton grey weevil, they attack or infest the arhar plants which can be mixed with a cotton field. So this is the one of the cultural practice, that is use of or growing trap crops or the secondary crops so as to divert the pest from the major crop. Any planting of wild beets with a sugar beet useful in reducing attack of beet nematode. So this is third example as a trap crop like bhendi or arhar, planting the wild beets. So wild beets can be planted along with a sugar beet. So the paste from the sugar beet can be diverted to the wild beets, and thus this can help in controlling beet nematodes like Heterodera rostochinensis. Heterodera rostochinensis. This is the beet nematode which is attacking onto the sugar beet or infesting a crop, major crop of sugar beet, and this can be diverted from sugar beet to wild beets. So wild beet can be planted along with the sugar beet fields. So this is about the trap crops or the secondary crops. Then next cultural practice, that is use of resistant varieties. Use of resistant varieties. This is an important aspect. This is an important aspect of control, but not seriously taken up in India. The painter in 1951 established the genetic resistance of the plants to the insect attacks in a three modalities such as non-preference, antibiosis, and the tolerance. So these are the three aspects. These are the three aspects. These are three aspects so as to establish or develop the genetic resistance of the plants against the insect attack, and they are non-preference, antibiosis, and the tolerance. But This particular practice, that is use of resistant varieties, not practiced or considered in India seriously, and this can also help in controlling or avoiding or protecting the crop fields from the attack of different insect pests. So, use of resistant varieties is an important aspect of control, but not seriously taken up in India. The painter in 1951 established the genetic resistance of plants to the insect attack in three modalities, or the three aspects or three criterion or three conditions which will enable to the insect pest to attack or infest the particular crop. And these modalities are non-preference, antibiosis, and the tolerance. Means the tolerance of the plant. Antibiosis means ultimately the pest population will not reach to the particular crop, or non-preference. So the ability of plants to withstand the attack of insect enemies is derived from certain morphological and biochemical characteristics which exert deleterious or harmful effect on the insects. So these are the some of the important features of the crop plants, may be morphological or biochemical characteristics of the crop plant, and which will become harmful, which will produce the harmful effect on the insect pest, and this causes the insect pest to avoid such plants for well-being of its livelihood. Resistant varieties in plants can be developed. Resistant varieties, resistant varieties in plants or the crop plants can be developed by considering the various factors such as insect preference of the food, insect preference for food, shelter, and oviposition. How far the plant is tolerant to the insect attack. What are the adverse effects of the plant on the insect? Presence of hard tissue or the sclerenchyma, hairiness, oil contents of the fruits like citrus fruits in a green condition, acidity of sap, vigor, early maturity. So these are the various features or the characteristics of the plants which can be manipulated in such a way that the pest could not prefer these features, and ultimately the particular crop get protected. Ultimately the particular crop get protected from the attack of different pests due to the unfavorable conditions or the odd features may develop in the crop varieties, and this will certainly help in in preventing the pest attack. So these are the different aspects or the factors which can be developed or introduced in the different crop varieties, that is insect preference for food, shelter, and oviposition, how far the plant is tolerant to the insect attack, what are the adverse effects of the plant on the insects, presence of hard tissue, then hairiness, oil contents of fruits like citrus fruits in green condition, acidity of sap, vigor, early maturity. So these are the some of the important features which can be developed in the crop of plants, and which will help uh, to avoid the insect attack or the pest attack or the infestation of the particular crops. In consideration of above factors, hybridization. So these are the again techniques. Hybridization, grafting, and pure line selection may yield desired resistance in a certain variety. So for the development of resistance in a particular variety, These are the some of the important practices such as hybridization, grafting, and pure line selection may yield desired resistance in a certain varieties of the crops. That is, the hybrid corn that is, the hybrid corn has yielded resistance or resistant strain to the European corn borer. Certain varieties of apple, like Northern Spy in USA, has shown resistance to the wood apple aphids. The apple, the variety of the apple with the resistance of wood apple aphids due to the hard sclerenchyma tissues around the roots and because of hairiness. So these are the some of the features of the resistant varieties of the apple or even the bird cord which has developed resistant strain to the European corn borer or some varieties of soybean, cotton, then red clover become almost immune to the attack of leaf hoppers and many kinds of citrus fruits containing oil showed resistance to the Mediterranean fruit flies in USA. So these are the number of examples of the uh, improved improved crop varieties or resistant varieties which have the resistance against the different pests. Then next cultural practice that is destruction of crop residue, weeds and the trash. So after the harvesting of crops, the insect persist on crop residues, weeds, and trash in different stages in their life history, and therefore it is very important to destroy crop residues, weeds, and trash. Otherwise, the population of insects would increase to attack the host crops when planted. So, the destruction or removal of crop residue, weeds and trash which are containing different stages, eggs, larvae, pupae or adults in a hidden stage or in a dormant stage in the trash, and thus these might be a source, this might be a primary source for the next crop, and thus this should be eliminated, this should be removed. So as to eliminate or kill or destroy these stages of the different pest, egg, larvae, pupae or adult in a dormant form should be killed or eliminated, and this can be done by the destruction of the or removal of crop residues, weeds and the trash. Otherwise, the population of the insects will increase and this will infest or attack the host crops of the next season or next year. For example, disposal of crop residue, disposal of crop residue, shredding of cotton stalks has resulted in a considerable direct mortality of the dye-posing pink ball worm larvae in Texas. Then burning of sugarcane trash. Burning of sugarcane trash is suggested for reducing the population of sugarcane pyrilla by way of destruction of the egg masses. Means sugarcane trash can contain the eggs of the pyrilla. So with the burning of the sugarcane trash, we can destroy or eliminate the eggs of the pyrilla. So ultimately will help in a destruction of the pest of the sugarcane. Then pruning and thinning. So occasional pruning of the old damaged and weak portions of the plants encourages the growth of new shoots which are healthier and pest resistant. That is clipping off or cutting off of the apical part of the young leaves during the initiation of infestation of the rice by the hispa, that is Dicladispa armigera, is the beneficial operation to remove the egg masses. As the result, as the adult prefers to insert eggs in this region of the young leaves. So pruning of the dead branches of the plants or weak branches help in removing the borer larvae and the pupae and also decreases the later damage by the infested twigs of the plants. So periodical pruning or thinning of old or weak branches of the plants will help in a proper ventilation or elimination of the suitable condition for the pest attack for hiding the stages of the life cycle of the pest. So these are eliminated due to the pruning and thinning activities. So pruning and thinning activities will lead to the odd condition or unfavorable condition for the sustenance of the pest larvae or pest pupae, or these are the hidden stages which can hide in the crop of plant. So that will not get uh, sustained in due to the pruning and thinning. So uh, this is a beneficial operation. Pruning and thinning is the beneficial operation to remove egg masses as the adults prefer to lay eggs or insert eggs in this region of the young leaves. So, periodical removal of undesired weak or old damaged branches from the crop of plant will become suitable in proper maintenance of the crop of plant. So pruning of dead branches, that is removal of dead branches of the plant, removes the borer larvae and pupae, which are hidden stages of the pest, and this will also decrease the later damage by the infested twigs of the plants. Then next cultural practice, that is soil manuring and fertilization. Soil manuring and fertilization. So proper manuring or addition of fertilizer or the manure in the soil produces healthier crop of plants which are better adapted to withstand pest attacks. So this is actually a cultural practice, agricultural practice, that is addition of organic manure or the fertilizers so as to provide the adequate amount of nutrients for the growing plants or the crops. But this will help in the development of plants, proper development of plants, proper growth of plants into a healthier plants, and which will become uh, much resistant to the pest attack. So this can withstand the pest attacks. The healthier plants of the crop will withstand the pest attacks. So the healthy plants raised due to the addition of organic manure or soil manures and the fertilizers will increase nutrient level or the fertility level of the land, and this will lead to the healthy growth of the crop of plants. So healthy plants raised on and provided with a balanced plant nutrients and need best manures and fertilizers. So that is wheat grown on phosphorus, wheat, for example, wheat grown on phosphorus deficient soil is damaged more by wireworm larvae than those grown on phosphorus balanced lands, while wheat grown on the land with added potash is less infected by the wheat stem fly in the United States. So this is the advantage. This is the advantage. If we are adding or putting or providing a proper nutrients, this will ultimately protect the crop like wheat by certain insect pest. So pest attack will be prevented. Simply we can say the pest attack, the particular pest attack can be prevented just by the addition of a particular chemical fertilizer or the particular nutrient like phosphorus or potash. Potash or phosphorus So when the wheat grown on the phosphorus deficient soil is damaged more by the wireworm larvae. So if we are adding the phosphorus, ultimately the wheat crop can be protected from the wireworm larvae. Or the wheat grown on the land with the added potash is less infected by wheat stem fly. So wheat stem fly attack or the infestation of the wheat stem fly can be avoided only with the addition of potash in the field of the wheat crop. And this is the practice or the reference reported from the United States. Or nitrogenous fertilizers render paddy plants from infestation of the brown plant hopper and rice gall midge. So these are the two different pests, brown plant hopper and rice gall midge. These are the two pests of the paddy crop, and the with the addition of nitrogenous fertilizer in the paddy fields, we can prevent we can prevent the attack or infestation of these two rice pest or the paddy pest, that is brown plant hopper and the rice gall midge. So nitrogenous fertilizers are considered to minimize, and hence nitrogenous fertilizers are considered to minimize damage by these pests. So simply a cultural practice, that is soil manuring and the fertilization. Actually, the addition of fertilizers or providing manure or the nutrients to the crop, the purpose is different, but this will indirectly helping us for minimizing or avoiding the crop infestation by certain pest or the insect pest. So this is also the very important cultural practice. Then last one, variation in the time of planting and harvesting. So another cultural practice, that is variation in the time of planting and harvesting. The time of planting as well as harvesting play a great part in controlling insect pest. To accomplish this, one has to consider the aspects like avoid egg laying period, avoid egg laying period, good stand of young plants, good stand of young plants before the attack, means proper growth of the crop plant before the attack of the pest. Susceptible period of the crop should be short. Susceptible crop period of the crop should be short when the pest is in its vulnerable stage. This leads to natural control. So we can avoid we can avoid the particular period for planting and harvesting of the particular crop so as to avoid the pest attack, and this period we can avoid for the plantation purpose or harvesting. So harvesting or planting may be delayed or may be done earlier so as to mismatch the egg laying period of the certain pest, or good stand of young plants before the attack, or susceptible period of the crop should be short when the pest is in its vulnerable stage or at the stage of attack. This leads to the natural control. So these are the three criterions with the help of which we can change the time of planting and harvesting so as to avoid the attack of the particular stage of the pest, or even to avoid the complete protection of the crop from the particular pest. So this is about the cultural measures or cultural control measures. Next time we will explain about second type of pest control measure, that is physical control. So today with this we will stop here. Thank you.